my name is Habiba. I am a fourth generation working within the textile and fashion industry. So this is very familiar to me. I've been in and out of seeing what goes wrong within the fashion industry and like how we could be doing better. So that's where I'm coming into play now. I've recently started a new venture in fashion as well, a brand named NUHA. NUHA is named after my mother, and it just revolves around confident women. So just to see how worlds can collide within like the men's fashion as well we've been doing for so long, and trying to reach into the women's as well. No, it shouldn't be necessary. There's no specific color that underlines any identity. It's just whatever resonates, whatever mood you feel is whatever color you feel like wearing. And I see a lot of men like now, like they wear a lot of pink. There isn't necessarily like a bias of color for each gender. It's just what we've kind of been taught to accustomed of, like being raised when like babies are born. Why is it like always the pink blue factor? But I think now within you see more familiarity with like people going towards more neutrals within even gender reveals. So you can see that a bit changing though, but that's definitely like an older mindset that's definitely transforming in the future. It's really sad to see that happening, but honestly I think the reason that was even implemented is because females tend to be the bigger market of like consumers. We tend to shop more than men, but it really does discriminate towards why us, because if we all, and we can go into the factors of even men get paid more, but why do women's clothes get taxed more? But yeah, that's something that needs to be like eliminated at some point. But where do we start for that? Actually, no, I feel like I feel like I realize more of where I purchase from. So maybe when we were younger, I probably did experience pink tax, but I didn't realize it was pink tax. But like now that we're more conscious about where things are coming from, who we're purchasing from, I don't believe I get pink taxed anymore. Oh, definitely. It just doesn't seem fair, because everybody works the same amount, everybody deserves to get their bang for the buck. So I don't understand just because of a gender why there's a tax on it. I think the world's really evolving. We've come like a long way. So even now, the more street style or what's in trend is everybody wearing baggy, you know? So like where's like that comes from like mostly men's clothing. So like, no, I think things are like changing for sure. And you even see the vice versa of like men wanting to dress more feminine, which is perfectly fine. But I think everybody's just tapping into what they feel comfortable wearing and feeling confident in, and which is what's ultimately important. So I'm glad that you're bringing that question up, because that's a huge factor to what NUHA believes in. It's absurd to how uncomfortable women's clothing is. Like it's like so drastic. Like you wear a pair of like men's trousers, and you can fit everything into that pocket, and it's like women's jeans are like just not practical at all. I do think I've noticed more fashion brands focusing more on functionality is like a big factor for women's clothing now. So that's changing as well. Hell yes, I'm gonna start making my buttons on the right side on purpose right now. What? Is that the reason?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just thought it's to differentiate if it's a man's shirt or a woman's shirt. Interesting. Yeah, no. Women can definitely help themselves. I don't really think it's a government problem. I think it's a brand to brand problem. Everybody has different fits, sizes, so I don't think the government needs to be involved in that factor. They can get involved with the pink tax factor. I do think men call most of the shots within the industry. Even the factor of heels was invented by a man. Like little things like that. So yeah, okay. So I feel like a lot of women's clothing, it gets passed down from like the wastage of whatever we don't use for our men's clothing goes over to the women's department. So I think some parts we do get overlooked, and you find that men, because they tend to buy less clothing, their quality seems to be better. Like men's clothing, they last so long, whereas women, they go through clothing a lot. So even in quality factors, I could see women going more towards materials such as polyesters, whereas men definitely have more quality of their fabric. Being more conscious about it. So that's everything we're trying to stray away from now. Polyester is the biggest wastage, or like the biggest environmental factor that like brings our, like the fashion industry is like the biggest polluter within our environment, right? So what we're doing consciously is to stray away from that. We're sourcing our fabrics to be as equal quality to the men's. So I think that's one of the steps we're taking for sure. Right now the pink tax is like put from company to company, right? Like it's not. So it's like just the same way as how we would be conscious about reducing plastic, you know, that's like, you know, it's wrong. So like we're trying to make that conscious mindset of like trying not to. So it's like, if it was really a problem, then people, like if we feel really strongly about it, then we would be the ones to go to the government and say, listen, these are statistics of people are doing this just to women's clothing versus men's clothing, and it would just start with communication. But maybe it's been overlooked, yes, but it is like a long-term problem within the women's fashion industry as it is. I think companies are designing like dresses for men, or like dresses period, and it's like whoever resonates with it wears it. But I think if it was a menswear company and they were to introduce like dresses, I think depending on a region would be the backlash. But there's always like people who has always something to say, right? You'd find the person that backlashes, but you'd find the person that probably appreciates that as well. So I think they are breaking it right now. Especially like when we look at more New York, like the fashion weeks, we see that like genders kind of intertwining with each other, and I think that's how fashion grows. We just have to learn from each other and see. We should be able to tap into our feminine and masculine energies to see where we kind of resonate or what we feel comfortable wearing. So ultimately, it's whoever feels comfortable wearing what they want to wear. Also very like this part of like the world mindset. Like if you were to see a man wearing a dress, like they would look down upon it, whereas if you were on another part of the world, we'd be like, oh my gosh, you look so good, you know? So like it really depends on mindset of the person. But I think companies or like brands are straying away from opinions. So everybody, brands will be there for whoever resonates with them, and that a consumer will purchase from them if they resonate with it. It's because like visually you can see like we are always a few seasons or years behind trends as it is. So like you'd be surprised. I'm so sure in like a few years I'd see more like more men, or like I'm just using an example, but more men wearing those dresses we were talking about. And you do see it happening like a little bit. It's just we're not keeping up with the rest of the world. So then But you do see with the younger generations, like we are tapping, especially with the use of social media, and like the internet is like our biggest tool. So we know what the other parts of the world look like, whereas the generations before us, they're just not as, we haven't met them there yet. Yeah. So tapping into what I said earlier about, I would like to ideally be catered to a unisex market as well. And the way I'm tapping into NUHA to be the brand that I'm really proud of is comfort was like a big factor for me growing up, and I feel like any time we would shop, it would always like, it's either you got comfort at a price but it didn't look good, but it just nothing, like all the good factors never clicked into one brand. So that's why I really wanted to start NUHA. And yeah, so comfort, confidence, and you just have to, and quality of fabric is a big factor, because the biggest reason companies don't do well is because they keep investing in the wrong fabrics and people just go through them way too fast. So having pieces of clothing that you can keep and pass over long term is my take on how I'm doing my part. I think it really goes towards the person, because I will wear my brother's shirts and come to office, no problem. It comes down to like, do you feel comfortable? Do you look good? Can you style it? Can you pull it off? But I think, no, but we definitely need to stray away from, oh, that's a pink shirt, or you look like a girl, like that looks like a man's shirt, is that your brother's? Everybody should keep their opinion to themselves.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your time, actually. Yeah, this was fun.